Welcome, internet waves of audio and YouTube, and we're back with just another episode of the Just No BS podcast. As always, I'm your boy John, the main host, but I'm also joined by my two co-hosts.
Dev?
Yeah.
All right, we're back. 2025 was a little shaky, but we're fixing things up a little bit. That said, it's been a couple weeks, y'all. How y'all feeling? Did y'all enjoy the holiday that most men hate?
I mean, hey, I relaxed during it, so I don't have any responsibilities yet when it comes to Valentine's Day.
We're gonna get you there.
If things keep going the way they're going, then maybe by next year, I might have those responsibilities.
Okay,
but for right now, I'm still a free agent.
Be careful, man. The streets, they don't accept trades right now, bro.
True.
After Luka went to the Lakers, no one's trying to trade.
Nobody's safe.
What about you, Cal? Did you have a good weekend?
I'm one of the weird guys. I enjoy getting gifts from my wife. I'm not gonna lie. Like she'd be joking about like anytime I go out and if I'm out the house for too long, like I'm coming back with something for her. Because I like getting people gifts. I don't know. I'm weird like that. So yeah, that was cool. And then we kind of had like a kind of sort of not really like group couples game night thing where we went to there's this place here in Atlanta. I forget what it's called, but it's essentially like instead of you going out to like something like Dave and Buster's or like a roller rink, like there's a game show that you can go and participate in. And people typically like go with couples, and then like they got various games that kind of treat it like a mix of like Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right type thing, which was really cool. I liked it. So yeah, it was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. But the day itself, like we just typically kind of vibe around the house. I'm not gonna lie to you. So
Fair. Me and my wife, we kind of just stayed in. We actually have never, ever since I met her, and me and her have never been a fan of Valentine's Day in general, so we tend to do something either before or after. But due to, budgetary restraints, we kind of just stayed in this year. But it was a chill day. Can't complain. We made some good food, so we kind of just stayed in, enjoyed each other's company a little bit. So we chilled out, but can't complain.
cool.
In other things that we missed, since it's been a couple weeks now, everyone's done talking about it. We got to give our 2 cents. What did y'all think about the Super Bowl? We'll just start with the game first, because that's probably going to be the short and sweet of it. Then we'll go to the halftime show. So what did y'all think about the game?
Cal, you can go first.
3 words describe the game. Belt to ass. Belt to ass. That's what that was. Maybe I think that's a new record. That's the longest that I've gone since the start of an episode to me cursing. Belt to ass is what that Super Bowl was. Mind you, I was looking at it like, okay, they're either going to give Patrick Mahomes like his three-peat so that it could be like the he's better than Tom Brady da argument, or they were gonna do the like rough and tumble Philadelphia fights back thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the underdog story. I did not expect that man to just that team to beat the brakes off of them, so much so that by the time the halftime show came, I wanted to be one of the people, like one of the 1.5 million or whatever it was that just turned the TV off after Kendrick told me to turn my TV off. But he had people over, so I couldn't. I enjoyed my drinks, enjoyed the company.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it at all. I was actually gaming through the whole thing. I didn't watch it, but I had the score ticker on the side, and I just saw the score get ran up. I'm just like, oh, they're beating the brakes off of them. And then I decided to watch the mics up. The NFL usually posts on their YouTube like about a week later, so I was watching the mics up, audio with the highlights and stuff, and I was just like, bro, these boys beat the brakes so much that the refs couldn't even try to fix the game. The
At all.
Eagles just like,
Man,
can't worry about the refs when all we're gonna do is beat y'all by like 40.
Yeah. Which was insane. And lastly, before Devin, you cook, the fact that like, because as y'all know, I'm talking to the people now. I'm a really big football person. So like seeing that they only were getting their scores off during garbage time is insane to me because I've seen the Chiefs be like damn near unbeatable. Like they look like Jesus, these people, you can't beat them for some. We know part of the reason was the refs, we know. But like just the way they would just be clicking and Patrick Mahomes would just be doing some Patrick Mahomes type stuff. It's like 5 people blitzing, everybody's covered downfield, and he'll shift the defense, throw it across his body, and somehow they catch it. It's like, Jesus Christ, what is he doing? But like at this point, it's like they talk themselves into amping up the Eagles for real, which is kind of like you can't do that with a hungry opponent. Like you have to squash them. You have to squash them, do it quietly, and get out the way. But go ahead.
so you both know I tend not to be a betting man, unless I know that odds are in my favor. So when it came to this game, I made a small bet with, my coworkers. And most of us were all on the same page there, except for one person who was like, you know what? I feel like the Eagles are going to do an upset. This man just won out of the entire office because everyone ended up having to go and pay this man. I'm like, dude, how? This was pretty much a easy one. It should have either, as you described it, either they were just going to give the Chiefs the game, or it would have been a close fight, but the Chiefs probably would have still won it at the end of the day. The fact that they just got blown out the water like that is insane. The only thing that I was kind of happy about afterwards is the fact that, our current president hates the Eagles, with a passion. And he hated the fact that they won. And I'm like, you know what? All right, I'll take this win.
Yeah, man. For me, I was like after I decided to watch like the mics up highlights of the game, I was just like, the Eagles did the one thing that, I mean, it's how the Chiefs lost to the Bucks a couple of years back. They just bum rushed them without blitzing, and somehow they just kept getting to them. And I'm just like, well, if y'all can do that, if y'all can get hands on the quarterback basically every drive, it's going to be good stuff. You don't need to be great one-on-one defenders if the quarterback can't throw and they got no run game.
So,
y'all are cooked.
That was also before we transitioned into the halftime show. This was considering, as you said, the Commander and Peach was up there. I'm coming up with new slang. I'm coming up with new slang for everybody, bro. I'm not doing this with y'all. Like y'all have
the Cheeto and Chief.
The Cheeto and Chief,
Commander and Peach. We got a few. So seeing how before the game, he was essentially, they asked him who he would prefer winning the Super Bowl or whatever. And he was like, yeah, like, I'm a winner. I'm going with the guy who has a track record of winning, whoop-de-whoop, all that other fun stuff. And was essentially like downplaying the Eagles. And we, like, if you know sports and you know like regional history and things like that, if you're a New York fan, more than likely you don't like Philly. If you're a Philly person, you don't like New York or Jersey, so on and so forth. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm a Bama fan. I don't really rock with Auburn like that. You see what I'm saying? So on and so forth. So seeing that and seeing how we spoke so highly of Patrick Mahomes, obviously Travis Kelce, and all the white appearing characters, and how he was so vehemently for them, just for them to get blown out in the first half. Kendrick does the Super Bowl and he leaves in the third quarter. It was very reminiscent of the Olympics when the mustache man was essentially propping up the German athletes and coming from the standpoint of like they're Aryan, thus they will win. And then they got smacked And then they did that iconic pose, and he just had to sit there, grin and bear it. But Trump didn't even have the testicular fortitude of the mustache man. He left in the third quarter. He didn't even finish out the game.
Mm-hmm.
He left.
You know, the commander-in-chief has a fragile ego, man. He's masculine fragility all in a Cheeto package. Like,
And I don't know if you guys heard, but in most cases, the president will usually go ahead and have the winning team of the Super Bowl visit the White House. It's kind of a normal thing that they do, and then after that, they kind of go out into the city and meet with different groups and so on and so forth. Kids get to see them, meet the players, so on, blah blah blah. This year, because that guy hates the Eagles that much, he canceled the entire trip. And the NFL even put him on blast on, I believe, X and everything about it. Like, the team themselves, they were actually really good about it. They were like, oh, hey, hey, we won, we're still celebrating, great game, blah, blah, blah. The NFL called them out like, oh, hey, so we heard that you canceled, this event, and we're really disappointed in you right now. They tried to keep it, pretty PG there, but you could tell they were just like, look, everyone sees this.
Yeah.
You're having a temper tantrum for nothing.
And even because I didn't see that they officially canceled it. After the Super Bowl was won, they reached out to him and asked him, like, okay, so how do you feel about, like, essentially the Eagles, primarily Jalen, coming to the White House? And he was very dismissive. He was not as enthusiastic whatsoever. He was like, he can do whatever he wants. And it was like, that's weird. That's very weird, Mr. Ultra MAGA masculine male. Like, what's this? I thought it was to the victor go the spoils. I thought it was, no? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So it's not about that. Got you.
Well, yeah, because so far, anytime you throw the logic of MAGA right back at them in a different way, it's nah. So, unfortunately, we have to deal with this for another 3 whatever years, hopefully, and it's gonna be a long one. That said, what you got something, Devin?
Oh, I was just going to fact check myself slightly. So the White House, they use the excuse of only a small number of players were deciding to come to the event, so that's why they canceled. However, looking into the other side of that, there were only a small handful of players that were just like, yeah, no, we just refuse to be basically in the same room as the Cheeto. And because not all of them were coming, that's what caused the Cheeto to have an even bigger tantrum and to say, well, you know what, if all of you aren't coming, then screw it, none of you are coming.
Yeah. So I guess he's more so like, this is more so behavior that he was exhibiting on Epstein Island as to where if he can't have the full captive audience, he doesn't want to attend.
Well,
sorry, that was just off the hip. I'm sorry. It was right there. It was right there. Right there. Like, I'm sorry. What did they say? I fear for my life, Jay. So I had to.
Nah, man. It's cool. It's cool. But no, it's and again, I can't confirm this, but the fact that he was there and left apparently cost the taxpayers a crap ton of money. I haven't been able to confirm how true that was, but like,
they estimated almost 30 million. They estimated almost 30 million just for this past weekend or the weekend before last for him to drive the Secret Service in the bulletproof caravan around the Daytona 500, which was also a couple million as well, almost like 20 something million. Drive around the track in front of his fan base. What are we doing, Jason? What are we doing?
Well, hopefully, maybe the Department of, Government Efficiency is on that. That's intense sarcasm for you audio listeners. Anyway, moving on. Now let's talk about the halftime show. What did y'all think? Again, as I mentioned, I didn't watch the game or the halftime show. I decided just the game because I generally, if I'm not interested, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. So I watched the halftime show when they dropped the video after the fact. Honestly, I loved all the symbolism. Anyone who complained that the show was lame or boring, I just remind you that a show and a performance are not the same thing. They're close, but not the same thing. And honestly, I think it was a great show just for all the symbolism and all the Easter eggs. And the only thing I wish is that he had ended with all right. And that's not even really a bad thing. It's probably just time. Like, so I was just like, I had no real complaints. I just wish that he had just ended it with "We gonna be all right." That's it.
Probably because
That's
we're
all.
not going to be all
Yeah, like it's so up in the air. Like
right.
maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But no, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Honestly, I'm in that same boat. Like I loved all the symbolism. Everything that was put into it felt like it was done on purpose. Like everything was planned perfectly to get the message across. So I definitely appreciated that. From a performance standpoint, I just really enjoyed it as well. From some of the technical stuff like the camera work, some of the choreography, things of that nature, I appreciated that as well. I think as a whole, it was just great. No
I
complaints.
I will say that cameraman who had to get Kendrick when he was doing the what part, I was just like, all right, you slipping, bro. Did you not see the original? Did you not see his actual music video? You slipping. You're supposed to be on your P's and Q's on that one. But
I'm gonna give him great. I'm gonna give him grace because I watched because there were multiple camera angles, and I saw the one where they showed what the cameraman looked like filming Kendrick, like walk out on Not Like Us and da da da. Bro, that shit looks ridiculous. Like I don't think people know how heavy something has to be on a grown man for him to lean back and be in perfect balance. You know how heavy that thing is, and you're walking backwards as this person's walking in front of you. I'm like, Jesus. Hey,
yeah,
bro,
man.
I don't know who you are by name. Shout out to you. You were a consummate professional. Because, I do agree with you, though, Jay. So, but like that guy, hey, man, that's 15 minutes of backpedaling, running forward, shifting to the side. Like,
look, it goes to the joke of like the cameraman in any anime,
yeah,
is, on top of it. Like they're surviving everything. They're keeping up with everything. Same thing in real life. Like they're carrying that big thing. Yeah.
The strongest character in any anime is the cameraman because he's keeping up with the bullshit. But no, seriously, I'm not trying to throw shit at that cameraman. Like you said, I respect him too. It's just you just know that's one of those moments you gotta lock in for. He's like that extra little burst of energy you gotta lock in. But I mean, we're just rehashing because it's been almost 2 weeks now. But like that look into the camera when he says Cedric, and he's like the ostrich from Kevin Hart's joke. He just Cedric like that. I was like, bro, that's diabolical. He just man.
And then with the lighting in the audience and everything, with the game over, like, come on, man.
I loved it. But this was one of my favorite ones out of all of them. Mainly because number one, I don't operate under revisionist history. I remember what those Super Bowls were like, my guy. I'm not gonna hold you. I remember what a lot of those Super Bowls were like. Like I remember I was sentient and I vividly recall the Justin Timberlake Janet Jackson Super Bowl.
Yeah, you mean the Super Bowl that created YouTube? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the Super Bowl. I remember these Super Bowls, and it was kind of like, this is when we go heat up food type deal. And like you said, like everything being very intentional, because they did multiple interviews with him. By any other stars metric, they weren't enough interviews. He did not do enough advertising. If you look at any other megastar, the amount of interviews that Kendrick did leading up to it was not what you would normally see. Period, point blank. They would be
Facts.
everywhere. They would be in Good Morning America. You'd see them. It would be just everywhere. All types of ad rolls. Da 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 da. You got a handful of variations of the same commercial from Kendrick, from the NFL, from the news networks. He did the thing with Timothy Chalamet. I think I'm saying that brother's name right.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet. Yeah,
Okay. And then you had
the Ebro one, right?
One more. Excuse me.
Didn't he do like an interview sit down with like Ebro and them? That was
Thank
one
you.
with
Ebro and Nadeska. Yeah, because that was through Apple. Yep. But those are pretty legit. Like it wasn't like a big, grandiose thing whatsoever. But seeing how, because even in those interviews, they were asking him, what can we expect from the halftime performance? And he was like, you can expect me to essentially tell you a story. Like I enjoy being a storyteller. And again, I respect the expectation and the metric of the artist. So if the artist says, I want to tell you a story, and then you get up there and tell me a story, not only a story, but a good story, you won. I don't care what anybody else says. I judge it by how the artist judges it. Period, point blank. So again, sing the song, sing how, like, from the standpoint of his mans is there, Dave Free is the person, and his creative team are the people behind designing the Super Bowl. The NFL literally, by their own word of their staff and everything, they gave them the dimensions, they gave them the amount of time that they had, and like gave them some logistical limitations. And they were like, all right, cool, we got it. And they came back to the NFL like, we're doing this, we need this here, da-da. This is going to kick off, this needs to be and it worked, and it was beautiful. Bro, like, this is one of my favorites. I'm sorry. Prince Made It Rain, Purple. You got the one that Kendrick was also at with, like, Eminem, Snoop, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre. You got that one. You got the Beyonce one. You got Bruno Mars. You got Michael Jackson. Yeah. And that's
the starter, man.
Like, U2, I don't care. I think that was in the era where y'all were forcing y'all albums on people's phones and shit like that to inflate numbers. That don't count. Why the hell was New Kids on the Block performing at the halftime show ever in any alternate universe? Like, I don't know. Makes sense to me. J-Lo and Shakira, love Shakira to death. Why is J-Lo allowed anywhere within any type of proximity of a mic near any major game ever? Why is Fergie allowed to ever sing any national anthem or any song in public with anything plus 5,000 people? You should be banned, barred, arrested, and deported. Respectfully. You should. It's disgusting. Deported back to your American state. We're not doing that. I'm not being... But just wherever you're from, if it's Jersey, we need to put you back there. You shouldn't be able to leave the state.
It's terrible. But
that's my opinion.
I agree. Ironically, like I was listening to like a YouTube short of like the most watched Super Bowls, and like Kendrick broke top 10, I think at like number 9. And then when you compare it to everybody else, I'm like, yeah, I can see it. Especially since you're right, I don't remember seeing a single commercial. Usually them blasting them Super Bowl halftime commercials all week up to the thing. I don't remember seeing a single one.
Mm-hmm.
They were sprinkled out there like they would do, but that's why I said like different renditions of the same commercial. So it was like this pose where he was like walking across a field with a bomber jacket on and like looking at the camera. And then it was like playing like Not Like Us or like TV Off or something like that. But it was just a simple, like it could have been a GIF to where it's just like, oh, boom, Kendrick Lamar halftime show, iTunes, da 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 da. And it's like, that's it? Yeah, that was it. They know I'm gonna be there. But yeah, I agree with you. That man doing I forget what it was called in Hunter x Hunter, where Kahlua did the shadow step. Like they put that behind him when he was walking in the circle and said, "Say Ahsoka, I hear you like him young." Like that, just seeing that, and it's like, yeah.
That and the 2-step shuffle thing he did when he was doing Not Like Us, like when he was going straight, he's doing the 2-step to the sides. I'm just sitting there like, the amount of memes, TikToks, shorts that have been made to that, I'm just like, bro, this doesn't even make sense when we're doing it, but okay, sure.
And why the hell are the Koreans doing it? Why are the Koreans doing this?
Appropriation.
Shut up.
Well, I'm not. Let me take that back.
The fact that you said that with a quickness.
Okay.
No, but seriously, because I have to take that back. It's not quite appropriation, but it's copying culture without understanding the back end of said culture. So, because ironically, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 days after that, someone sent me, no, it was a Birdman video. He was talking about how, people complain about cultural appropriation one way, but they don't complain about it in the reverse. Because he in one of his videos, he posted several pictures of Koreans doing a cosplay as Black People Day, and they're all dressed as thugs. I'm just sitting there like,
this is what they think about you.
exactly. So literally, they think what he's doing is supposed to be like indicative of the culture, when he literally starts off the whole show saying, the revolution will be televised. This is the right time, but I'm the wrong guy. Like, that completely flew over your head if that's what you're taking from it. And that's why I was so quick to appropriation, because they're just trying to get in on what's cool. But the whole point is that that's not the whole point, is that we're not trying to be cool. This is literally our culture. Like, he's putting on display. So it's like, and again, like, I can go on and on about the symbolism, like when he was in the beginning of the show standing in front of the two halves of the American flag and it's all Black bodies. I'm sitting there like, bro, this is straight overhead stuff. Like, what are you doing, sir?
And thank you to before, because I don't want to be contributing too much to the word parasocial isn't what I'm trying to get at. The misreading, mishandling, and misinterpretation of the themes present in the show. So we're not going to get too deep into breaking down like the iconography and everything else like that. But I really just wanted to thank, praise, and appreciate Samuel L. Jackson for being Samuel L. Jackson that moment, in that time, because we all know the phrase that Samuel L. Jackson is famous for. In every movie that he's in, he's going to say motherfucker. So him not only being Uncle Sam, but his presence is the motherfucker that you can't say on TV, but you know if Samuel L. Jackson is there. And if you ask him something, and that's how he responds, motherfucker was the first few syllables of that thing. So seeing him be there and being that representation of essentially, I'm sorry, like Black cultural relevance and understanding in history, in the importance of elders for counsel, youth for war, was very, like, that was touching for me from that standpoint. Because seeing the amount of money this man has contributed to not only Black causes, but humanitarian causes, seeing the contributions that he has from a cinema side, seeing the contributions that he has on a cultural side, as to where it's like embracing other young Black professionals in the entertainment sphere and being like a true North Star to them, was fantastic, bro. Like, it's stuff like that that makes me go like, damn, this is like, Kendrick was very intentional with that. Because you could have easily, if you just wanted an older Black guy, you could have grabbed somebody like Morgan Freeman and just had him in the press box narrating from the press box, responding off of your stage cues and everything. But you had Samuel L. Jackson there and present. And it's like, that's great. We need to revere and hold our elders in a different and a positive light. Because it's a difference between being an OG, being an elder, being ancillary and things like that, and just being a young nigga that got old, which we're going to talk about later on. But thank you,
yeah,
Jackson.
And like, Kendrick was basically alluding to, where especially if you're of the melatonin-based ethnicities, whichever one you may want to identify with, we're all playing the American game, the great American game. So it's just a matter of, do we play this particular part civil or do we tear some stuff up? And that's what I loved about it. He basically just highlights what it means to be black in a nice halftime show. Any final thoughts on the show, Devin, before we go on to our 3-body breakdown?
No, pretty much covered it on my end.
All right, so keeping in line with culture, especially here in the good old US of A, we're going to go into our 3-body breakdown, and I'm going to start off by asking a very, very, not heavy, but it's just at this point, this is what you're going to expect from the Just No BS podcast. Why do you piss pillars hate non-white people so much? Let us stop standing on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. Like, why do y'all just hate non-white people so much? Like, seriously, what did we do to y'all?
Exist?
I guess so, because let's just start it off with, we've been harping about it. We're nerds here. We've talked about it in like the last 3 or 4 episodes now. Y'all can't stand having a woman protagonist in a game. And yet, at the last PlayStation, because we just had a PlayStation State of Play. What was it, like Tuesday? Last week or something like that?
I think so.
It was a couple days ago. And they just showed a teaser for a game called Tides of Annihilation, where like we have a white woman who's supposed to be is it Joan of Arc? But she's essentially able to summon the Knights of the Round Table, like, you know, King Arthur's court. So it's like, so maybe y'all just hate. To all my audio listeners, I'm pointing to my black face. What is it like? But it's the white woman, and yet I'm not hearing none of this hubbubaloo that you were hearing with like Ghost of Yote having a Japanese woman ninja protagonist, side protagonist. So like, what's the deal, y'all? Like,
So because I've done some research into this just off of curiosity, from like a sociological standpoint, from a religious standpoint, from a historical standpoint as well. We're dealing with, when we're looking at the presentation on a Western side. So like when it comes to America, I don't know why y'all consider like Europe Western when geographic. Anyway, so from a Western cultural thing, you have to realize that number one, a lot of white males in the Western culture were raised centered in everything. They were raised damn near to interpret their presence in every point in history, even up to the mythology, even down to the etymology of things, was white centered. And they were viewed as damn near demigods, because a lot of white people here in America are Judeo-Christians. Some of them are Catholic, Mormon, Scientologists, so on and so forth. But there has always been a white center for them. Even when it comes to, like I said, the iconography, like Jesus has always been presented as white to them. A white man with blonde hair, blue eyes, what do they call it? Like a lean, muscular build, who was put to death by some fat Jews. That's how they contextualize this, without understanding that whole, oh, what do men think about on the regular, the fall of the Roman Empire? The Romans killed Jesus. Yes, it was aided by his own people, but they were under Roman rule at the time. Let's not forget that. Let's also not forget the fact that this person that y'all claim is Jesus was born in the Middle East, grew up in the Middle East, studied in Egypt, traveled and matriculated through the educational system as well as the evangelism system of the Middle East and Africa. Y'all can't go out to Miami for 3 days and not sunburn. That's how they're centered on a faith-based thing. Let's get that out of the way. When you look at how they interpret culture, it's Greco-Roman culture, right? Everything comes from the Greeks. Everything comes from the Romans. When we deal with evangelicals and things like that on the MAGA side, everything that they love and appreciate comes from Greco-Roman culture, except for homosexuality. That's a sin. That's a boring. That comes out of left field. That's a Western construct. Hey, they used to, excuse me, Jazo, they used to fuck boys so much, when they came back from war, they made their women shave their heads.
Yeah, people always forget about that with the Romans and the Greeks. That whole, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So every which way that we package and box in their understanding of things, this is from y'all talking. This isn't me projecting whatsoever. Every which way we box it and push it to the side, it's white-centered, period. Even let's bring that back. When you look at it from a scientific standpoint, they say that the Greeks were the first people to essentially go and look at it being a heliocentric model instead of a geocentric model, which means they claim that the Greeks were the first people to not only chart the stars, but to come to the realization that the sun was the center of the universe instead of the earth. That's how they package it, not knowing that the majority of European studiers stole directly from Africa. So much so, their mythology pivots off of that. Cool. So we have it from a religious standpoint, we have it from a scientific standpoint, we have it from a historical standpoint. Cool. We're just snapshotting this and moving it to the side. Then we can take this into modern day. When you try and look at things and be like, oh, this is what makes America great, blah, blah, blah. The first film ever showed on American soil was Birth of a Nation. It was rooted in racism. It was catering towards white fragility. It was catering towards replacement theory and understanding, essentially, oh, black men are weird and they're ultra powerful. They're going to come in and sexually assault our women. So then we contextualize your masculinity. We screenshot that right there. Fear of the BBC. That's what y'all cinema was rooted off of here. That's a snapshot. I know y'all don't like how I say it. This is all I can go back and show you. This is where it comes from. So in every which way, they don't like it. They diminish it. They diminish our existence, period. So when you come with dehumanizing someone and diminishing their importance to society, you start to create your own theories as to why you're superior. Manifest destiny, all of this. They justify doing fucked up shit because of fear that they're losing something that they were never supposed to have in the first place. And then crying when they don't get what they thought they would get. I just find it funny, studying it from all facets, how you feel like you can own an ocean, for instance, like from a metaphorical standpoint, how you feel like you can reach into ankle deep water, grab some water and hold it and say that you own this. It's falling out your hand every instant that you have it grasped. You can't even fully grasp it. That's all. That's all.
Thoughts, Evan?
So I just want to make a quick point when you talked about just grabbing water and everything or an ocean. I did want to point out with the change on certain maps and everything that they've done recently.
Oh dear Lord.
With a particular Gulf.
Oh dear Lord.
I don't know just how relevant you were trying to be with that one, but I'm like, kind of right on the money there.
That was accidental. I'm not going to lie to you.
Look, I'm going to pretend that was planned and say, well played, good sir.
You know what's funny? Of all the services, and I don't know if this is current, but the last time I checked, of all the services that have yet to make that change, Good old MapQuest has yet to make it, and they're still sticking it out. Again, this is what I saw literally as of like yesterday. This could have changed today. I don't know, but Apple Maps, Google Maps, whatever Maps has changed it at this point, except for good old MapQuest. They're like, nah, we OGs, fam. So I don't
What's
know.
funny with Google Maps, the way they did it, they only have it changed for people viewing it in the U.S. As soon as you go outside of the U.S., it's listed as the Gulf of Mexico. And then in some areas, it's listed as the Gulf of Mexico, and then in parentheses, Gulf of America below it.
Should we respect the new identity of the Gulf of America and respect how they identify the Gulf of America?
Nah, fam. You can't just identify as whatever you want.
What?
No.
What?
Once again, for our audio listeners, this is just pure sarcasm. I have to make
Just
it
in
clear.
case you were wondering.
Yeah.
How dare you, Jason? How dare you?
But yeah, getting back on the topic though, yeah, looking at the complaints that people were having on some of the games that were coming out, it makes no sense that suddenly everyone's completely fine with Tides of Annihilation. I decided to go and pull it up really quick just to kind of get an idea. It's like there's nothing inherently different about that should suddenly make that okay, and then all the other games are wrong for whatever it is that they're doing.
You know what it is? It's because it's a hot chick rather than just a chick in general. Because supposedly the chick from Assassin's Creed is not that attractive. She's a ninja. You shouldn't see her face most of the time. What are we talking about?
Right.
Out here gooning. We'll get to that later.
Yep.
Is that a mask fetish? Do they have a mask fetish?
No, they don't like it. But they all of a sudden like this Tides of Annihilation chick. And I mean, the game looks great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this. I'm probably going to pick it up. But what are we talking about here? Like, seriously. Like, the logic, when you flip it, never makes sense.
Never.
Like, there was this whole thing about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and yet one of our favorite content creators, the Birdman, literally took their logic and took it to like, hey, but I bet you liked Resident Evil 5, didn't you? Made by a Japanese company about a white man shooting black people who have been hit with a disease in Africa. Suddenly crickets. Like, are we not appropriating here? Are we not doing a little bit of white savior here? Like, your logic does not apply in multiple ways, and this is why we can't take y'all seriously.
Your logic is deniable. Your logic is very deniable. Doesn't make sense.
And this is why I'm titling this episode, if you just hate us, just say so. Because at the very least, we can go do our own thing and just say F y'all. But, like...
Oh, no, we can't do that either.
Oh, no, you're right. Because when we make our own stuff, y'all still find a way to complain.
Not complain. You found a way to bomb people, kill people, imprison people, eminent domain land from those people, steal products, thought processes, and creations from people. So no, stop playing. A lot of us are much more historically literate than y'all will ever be. You can't even tell me things that the commander-in-chief did in his first term that actively benefited you as a working individual in this nation, because you make up the majority of it. After he told y'all years ago, if I was going to run for president under any party, it would be the Republican Party, because I could essentially shoot somebody in Times Square and they would still vote for me. I love the uneducated. Direct quote from him. Like, does he need to say y'all by name? Like, where?
I don't even think that would work, because then they just going to say, oh, hey, he knows me, and then not pay attention to anything else after that.
This guy literally got... I hate making things overly political, but this man literally called himself a king on a freaking government website in a country that was founded to stop kings. What are we doing? But getting back to the topic at hand, I'm not going too far away from it. At the end of the day, I just hate when y'all piss pillars, incels, whatever. I'm tired of hearing y'all say we want women blank characters. We have them. Y'all just won't like them because y'all are looking for something to hate regardless. Hell, what was it? That drinker guy did his review on the Captain America movie, and I'm sitting here like, this isn't in good faith whatsoever. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not gonna act like I know what happens in the movie. But just say y'all don't want a black Captain America, although he's been a thing since 2014. But just say that. But because at least we know where y'all stand, instead of y'all trying to hit us with the okie doke.
They're too coward. Number one, it's two things that contribute to this, Jay. So I'm gonna be honest with you. That's being
speaking for the people. I'm just setting it up.
They're number one, too scared to say it. And number two, they aren't intelligent or articulate enough to articulate why they don't like it without sounding racist. They don't know how to do either one of those things, bro. So when all that it boils down to is DEI hires. Hey, how many planes have fallen out the sky since the start of this year because of DEI hires? You talking about white guys? Wait. My thing is, DEI hires, as they have been trying to remodify this term. It's essentially
twist it, steal it, co-opt it.
Yeah. So, okay, look at these underqualified white guys.
You mean our cabinet?
That have been at the helm of these planes, and these planes are falling. Shit. When Denzel Washington was a DEI hire in flight, he flipped that bitch upside down and kept the people from dying. Stupid motherfucker. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Come on, bro. That was a movie.
Shout out to the pilot, Sully. He was an older white gentleman who, when some issues went down, he was able to actually, like, land the plane in water.
The Hudson,
we're not disrespecting you, Sully. Respect. But they like to use DEI as a euphemism for black people, period, across the board. Okay, so all these white people dying by white pilots, what are we doing? All of these DEI pardons that came out, and you got people convicted of child pornography, soliciting sex from a minor, essentially suicide by cop, all of this violent stuff from these roughly 2,000 people that were released on a pardon, these DEI pardons, mind you, because they are DEI pardons. They didn't get pardoned off of the ethics of their work and their recovery in the system. You see what I'm saying? This wasn't off of them putting forth the effort to reform themselves, if you would. These people were let out into society. It was a catch and release program. They went out into society, did some dumb shit. They immediately had to bring them back to prison. These are DEI pardons. A DEI hire would be Elon Musk with Doge. So much so that they were saying that they were on the forefront of technology, things like that, Tesla trucks, neural implants, and all this, neural links, things like that. How did your website get hacked? How did that happen?
Forget that. Weird. None of the stuff he said is right. It's just been straight out lies. The Cybertruck was supposed to come out in like 2016. It took up to like basically 2022. Like, y'all just know how to lie.
And why don't y'all take the Neuralink back from the handicapped boy who was using it as an aimbot in Call of Duty and Valorant and things like that? Because it didn't work. Because y'all were essentially killing so many pigs per year that it could be somebody's farm because you couldn't even get the measurements right. That sounds like DEI hires, doesn't it, Jay-Zo? If you can't get basic measurements right for a product that goes on the brain of
Why you always lying? Why you always lying? My God, stop
Stop
in line.
fucking lying.
Because that's essentially what this is. Like you said, DI to them just means black, and yet the biggest beneficiaries of both affirmative action and DEI initiatives are, someone say it, palm-colored women. Because I know, what was it, the Department of Veteran Affairs, where like a majority of them were women that lost their jobs, and then like they thought DEI was meant race, not women, and it's like, no, it means people that are like veterans, disabled, handicapped. How
and
about y'all know what
farmers
something it?
farmers
The
felt
whole
that as
purpose
well.
of it is
Farmers felt
the
that
whole
as well.
like the whole purpose of it was so that people who fit into those categories but are otherwise fully qualified have the opportunity to get hired for those positions. So anyone who did come in as a DEI hire is probably even more qualified than anyone else that was there. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, and also, if anyone's ever seen a show called Scandal, I never watched all the way through, but one thing that particulates through the black community is to be 2 times better to get half as much. That has been the mantra of being black basically since our time here. So don't look at us when you're talking about we ain't qualified. We probably overqualified, but because we are, y'all ain't gonna look at us. This is why
Exactly.
so many. That's why it was a thing in the '90s where most black people would lie on their resume or adopt a very white sounding name so that people would actually look past the damn resume. Like, we can go on and on about this, y'all. Don't lie to us.
What I will say, the Commander in Peach does have many DEI hires this time around.
You
What
mean
I
all of
will
them?
say, one of my favorite DEI hires to reference on his first time around was Ben Carson being who he is in his field, being the head of urban house development. I need y'all to look up what Ben Carson did before that position. Like, fully understand what his discipline was. And then
Yeah, he was
see this.
working medicine, right? If I'm not
Brain
mistaken.
surgeon. Yeah, he's a brain
Yeah.
Yeah,
surgeon.
he was the guy who did the Siamese twins. He was,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
he was he was the guy in a completely different field who excelled so much in a completely different field. He was designated differently, and they studied his model. And then Trump, Peach, Cheeto, however you want to say him, was like, "You're black. You know what poverty feels like. Run poverty housing." Excuse me, what the fuck?
Yeah, because that's 1-to-1.
What is this? I spent the better part of 40 years doing something in medicine, pioneering medicine at that. You're black.
Bro,
You know what the poorest thing.
don't forget our freaking justices. Like, I want to say like 6 to 8 of them, if DI didn't exist, wouldn't be there. Like, what are we
Yeah.
talking about? So this is why, like you said earlier, like, even though when we try to make our own stuff, y'all come for it anyway. Or when y'all try to co-op shit like the Boondocks, y'all completely miss the point of that show every time I see a white person talk about it. Most of the people that I know that love the Boondocks are all white. And I just be like, with the exception of one of them who I know understands the struggle, I'd be looking at the rest of them like, okay, all right. Y'all clearly missed the point. But okay.
Yeah, that should be labeled as a felony. I'll be honest with you, because I've thought about it for some time. The charge should be cultural theft. And the punishment should be you will labor until you're able to afford your next closest black resident 40 acres and a mule. With that being said, we have situations like the Boondocks, absolutely. We also have situations like half of Justin Timberlake's career as to where it's stealing from Black artists and using Black producers and Black cultural commentators to help curate his image for a Black audience post NSYNC. We have things like Friends that steal directly from Living Single. We have individuals like Tom McDonald who make garbage anti-DEI revolution music as a result of conservatives sucking when it comes to media literacy and putting out things of critical thought that actually captivate an audience because they lead with a conclusion as opposed to understanding nuance and leading with a question and making sure that the audience actually understands and empathizes with the person going through the struggle. Those should be things that we bring on the docket. Bill Clinton should be, I guess, indicted on a misdemeanor for playing the saxophone and trying to confuse Black people. That's a misdemeanor charge. It's a misdemeanor charge, in my opinion. But so on and so forth, if you understand what I'm saying. This is why I feel like individuals like Eminem actually live up and can pass the scrutiny of time, because time does give you a different lens on things. One of Eminem's biggest songs post his peak was Mosh, where he was talking about moshing against individuals who support George Bush and George Bush himself and the ideology behind it. It's a few people who can go up in flames badly behind this, in my opinion. Because I feel like if we don't identify these people and label these people as pariahs, we forget the danger that they can do to a captivated audience. That's my opinion.
And we're gonna have to put Drake in that bucket because
the
moment he got cooked by a Black man, he suddenly decided to pull every white trick in the book. So,
I mean, if we're talking about people who are kind of doing a flip, Kanye.
Oh, Kanye Kest?
You know what? That's good. I like that one. Kanye Kest. That guy.
Oh, man.
Kanye once a yandere. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, man. I have a conspiracy theory. This is not real, but I told you, we haven't seen the real Kanye in forever. The moment Get Out became a thing, I was like, that's not Kanye we have, man. That's Bush's vice president. That's Bush's vice president in Kanye's body. That's not him. And Kanye is slowly losing the fight.
Dick Cheney.
Yeah, that's Dick Cheney in Kanye's body. I'm telling you, bro. That's not
the guy who shot somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And tried to use the excuse of, oh, hey, he was aiming at a quail, or he thought he was aiming at a quail.
Yeah. We haven't seen the real Kanye in, I want to say, over a decade, bro. Like, definitely over a decade. We haven't seen the real Kanye since, like, 2010. Like, I'm telling you.
I mean, it's 2025, yeah. It's more than a decade.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's been like 15 years since we've seen the real Kanye. I'm telling you, man.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, no, man. We live in dangerous times, and like you said, the literacy is just. My thing is, again, like you said, they're too scared to say it, but we just have the literacy to be like, nah, y'all are on some shit. So you know what? With that being said, we're gonna move on because we got a comprehensive rant with Caleb, also known as Caleb's final rant. So he got some things he wants to get off his chest, and I know Devin's got some counterpoints, probably. Oh, not counterpoints, but add-ons. In addition to.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Jazo, switch with me. You go first. You go first, because I need to step away for a quick second. And then when I come back, I'll contribute to yours, and then I'll provide mine.
Okay. So we're not going to do our content final rant with Caleb yet. We're going to go ahead and have... we're going to coin this Just a Thought with John. So, as I mentioned earlier, there is... these incel piss pillar types, they just don't want women in their games unless they're, like, basically half naked. And... these new kids with their newfangled slang out here, being old man John over here, apparently it's called gooning. So we're gonna have a quick little discussion about gooning and gaming, especially gacha games.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna stop and just say we're gonna have a quick discussion about gooning. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Nope, we're talking about gooning and gaming and how basically gacha games are being over sexualized, and that's how they make money. So yeah, why? Because I mean, when we talk about gacha games in general to begin with, it was already kind of the thing, but now they just don't care, bro. Was it? Is it Girls Frontline 2 is getting sold on regular app stores, and that game is basically corn. Y'all know what I'm really trying to say, but it's basically corn.
Yeah, you guys have all been to Corn Hub before?
Yeah, trying to goon in these streets now, apparently, instead of, doing it between the sheets.
Which, fun fact, by the way, everybody, Corn Hub does actually exist. It is all about corn. But we're not actually referencing that, in case you weren't aware.
Yeah, that joke became a thing and went too far. But regardless, why? Why are we doing this with gaming? Because, it seems like you can't have a woman in a game without essentially these incels being like, she's too masculine or this, that, and the third, or if she's the other direction where it's over sexualized like Cellar Blade, now we need the naked mod or else the game sucks when the game is great. So it's like, what are we doing? Why? And then to realize, I'm just saying, I said it like an episode or two ago, but if y'all want to jerk off, just go to Corn Hub and leave us alone with our gaming, bro. Like, the wrong time
I just walked in on the wrong time.
Tell me it's not the truth, though.
I just think you gotta respect people's sexual discipline or lack thereof.
Go to Corn Hub.
What we
or
can
various other video sites.
But what we can judge them on is you cannot let your sexual fantasies or situational depravity augment your judgment of anything. Period. You can have a fetish. I'm not going to yuck nobody's yum if it involves consenting adults. Period, point blank. But you can't tell me something's bad because you can't jerk off to it. Put your dick away and grab the controller, you freaky frog. That's what you need to do. Mm-hmm.
No, they thought they were grabbing the controller.
Oh,
God. And there's mine there.
That's a good one. That was a good one, Devin. But yeah, Devin, take it away, bro, because you got some additional info, bro.
So one thing I've noticed about all of these different games that kind of fall under that, so talking like Blue Archive, Nikkei, to a certain degree, Girls Frontline 2,
Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah, the list goes on there. I noticed that a lot of these games really became popular right around COVID. So right around the time that the lockdowns happens, when that was all that people could really focus on because they were home. They were away from the public eye, so they could kind of get away with seeing this kind of stuff. And it's just been nonstop ever since. So I'm wondering if COVID, not in the sense of like, oh, hey, because you got COVID, then, this is what you're into now, but more of a, hey, is this a symptom of some of those lockdowns? Like, have people become so used to this now that this is now the norm? What do you guys think?
I think that if you played video games for a while, you know what Gamergate is. You know how they treated women during Gamergate. And we understand that sexually repressed individuals are typically the first individuals that are sexual offenders, whether it be sexual assault, some type of sexual battery, trafficking, and things like that. I think this era that we're actively in right now should be colloquially titled Goonergate. Because y'all motherfuckers have been jacking off for so long to fake people, you don't know how to interact with real people, and it's skewing the understanding of human interaction.
I agree, because it's not even just games anymore. It's when you look at like how people treat like cosplayers with like anime and manga now too. Like y'all are getting to the point where it's like, bro,
calm down.
Thank you. I was looking for a non-offensive way to say it, but yeah, y'all need to calm the hell down. Bro, I refused for the longest time to read My Hero Academia because there is just that half the community that like y'all are just gooners, bro. Like, come on. Like, seriously.
And I
Y'all
don't even,
forget that half these characters are children.
yeah,
That part.
yeah, that's yeah. But I don't even like that word because again, this is what we're talking about with DEI theft because goon meant something very different when I was
Facts.
coming up.
Yeah, that's fair. You missed my intro to this when you walked away, but I was
Yeah, my
I was
bad.
like this new kid slang.
My bad. My bad.
No,
But
you good though. You good.
operating off of the active colloquialisms, it's like, all right, cool. Like we'll call it a gooner so that you can identify yourself and essentially say the quiet part out loud. Y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. And you're scaring the hoes. And that's the problem with y'all. Because y'all scare the hoes so you don't get the women. I'm gonna say that again. You're scaring the hoes so you don't get the women. It is what it is. And that's why there's this male epidemic when it comes to reproduction and things like that. Because you're scaring the hoes. The hoes are the Rorschach test for the wives and things like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it P with you. I'm going to keep it playing with you. You're scaring the hoes, bro. So the wifey materials are already looking at you like, you don't get no hoes? Like, not in a disrespectful way, but like other women who are only looking into you for recreational activities or not partaking in this advertisement, I'm afraid. What's going on? This is what it is.
Oh, that's
So-
terrible.
You're scaring the hoes, which it matriculates to the shutdown of you possibly getting married. I'm going to be honest with you. Your daddy should have taught you this. Be honest with you.
So I saw a meme today and I decided to go and save it on my phone. And I'm going to add this to some of my sayings from now on. I'm not kink shaming. I'm kink asking why.
Ah!
Big question.
Kink question. And I feel like that's relevant right now. Like, look, I'm not here to, judge you or anything for what you're into, but where do you draw the line where you're like, all right, maybe I should do this at home, in the privacy of my own home?
What I find weird is how like and how y'all allow this to go to social media and just become this rampant disease, virus, whatever. Because like it's
4chan.
one thing
4chan.
whether it's a video game, anime, manga, comic, book, piece of media, insert here. Like, regardless of what it is, let's say you did have a thing for, I don't know, Storm from the X-Men. Why do y'all...
I mean, who doesn't?
Facts, but why do y'all suddenly have to go to places that begin with P, end in B.com, and suddenly have to make this a whole thing for everyone to see? Like, if you did that in your own home, no one else knew, or maybe you have your small group of people that y'all talk about like this stuff with, and it's not weird, by all means. But like, when y'all suddenly have to talk about certain things in like chat forms and make it weird.
But that's the COVID element. That's the COVID variable because you're stripping like the lockdowns and everything strip the personal. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like the interpersonal, person by person, in person thing. It stripped that. So now it's like you connect with individuals that you meet on an internet basis. So you think that these are the same level of friends. For instance, you have a situation as to where we're not going to talk about it too much. Left-leaning individual Destiny got jammed up because of his bullshit, and your doppelganger, Jazo, Abba,
Not my doppelganger.
yeah, no, he reminds me. You remind me of him. He reminds. It's a weird thing, just because of like temperament and cadence of speaking. For that's really it. when he pointed out, he was like, hey, this dude is a weirdo. Da, 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 da. And then you look into it, like that's a normal thing post-COVID. Like individuals not possessing the social the social contract, if that makes sense. Like if I have sex with a woman who isn't my wife, I'm not gonna play the video for Dev. You see what I'm saying? It's a little weird. You see what I'm saying?
And
But that's a parasocial relationship thing that got developed. Development got heightened during the pandemic because we couldn't get outside anyway. That's what I'm saying. And I think that's the sociological downfall or fallout as a result of that. That's weird, bro.
I agree because you both know I had a certain job where it was effectively a call center. And one thing that anyone who is working there could tell you is that people will say the wildest shit when they know that, oh, hey, the other person can't see me and I'm never going to meet that other person. So, uh, if you had that same person go to like McDonald's or so on and so forth, they wouldn't get away with half of what they would say over the phone. They wouldn't even dare do it because they would be afraid that someone would do something about it. After COVID, that attitude completely changed. Suddenly, people were kind of separated from one another, so they kind of got used to doing all kinds of things that they wouldn't normally do, and then they brought it uh, out in public, and now it's the norm. If you notice, the attitude of some people who go to stores and so on and so forth changed drastically after COVID.
Yeah.
There were some people who were still kind of wild and would do whatever they were going to do, but it was rare. Most people would try to kind of hold back a little bit. After COVID, everyone just pretty much did whatever they were going to do. So it's just a symptom of it, I think.
For me, I think it all, including the COVID part, all boils down to the ever advancement of the internet. Because obviously, this stuff, as we become more interconnected, this stuff just exponentially grows and like seeps and like infects everything. Like before, this type of attitude you'd only see on like really weird chat forums, and you'd have to go digging for those. Now you can be watching just a regular YouTube video and someone just brings it up out of nowhere. Like, why? How did we get here? And again, most of y'all people who be in the comment sections of these My Hero Academia forums, y'all are weird. These are children. Y'all are weird. I'm sorry. I know Devin loves that manga, but I can't.
See, I love the manga and not necessarily the fans.
Yeah. And again, some of y'all fan bases are just making it toxic for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will add one quick thing because I know you said that you feel that it's the internet that kind of caused this.
Well, not
to a
cause,
degree.
but the more it's the fuck around find out bar. The more the internet gets expanded, the higher the rate of this crap goes.
Okay, then yeah, I can agree to that. I think it's a situation where we could have gone like two different paths when it comes to the internet expanding. We could have gone down the path where we use this to become more connected, learn from one another, and advance knowledge. And then we've got this route that we're currently on.
Well, I mean, I think both of those
both are true.
One is just the dominant culture because it takes less critical thinking to invest in the dominant culture. So, for instance, I have no problem listening to people that I disagree with if they come from a solid cornerstone and they're not negotiating, but debating or speaking from a solid cornerstone. Even if I disagree with them, if their morals align and their logic actually follows through with the argument, be it is what it is, you see what I'm saying? Like, I can understand that. But when you have individuals, I'm trying to find the nicest way to say this. When you have individuals from, I'm gonna say it, I don't care.
We haven't been nice all episode. Let it fly.
from the nuclear part of America with a below average reading level who graduated simply because they aged out of high school having the same voting rights as me, that's where I get weird about it. Specifically because the stats surround white males in my age who did just that. So, a curse word is incoming. You cousin fuckers shouldn't be able to vote on any type of president because the precedent is whatever is close to you, you can stick your dick in. That's weird. We're not asking for frame of reference. Did you do that or did you didn't? That's what I'm saying. Like, just basic. I know this sounds really hedonistic and just a basic. Did you fuck your cousin? Did you kiss your cousin? Just something like that. We need to, nope, you don't get to vote because of this. And then we can raise and go, hey, did you ever find your auntie attractive? Your mom's sister or your dad's sister? Did you find her attractive at any point in time? Yeah, it was just no. Just draw lines of basic humanity shit that we're supposed to have, right? Because we're supposed to be larger and more intelligent than apes, correct?
Hey,
So,
the internet's supposed to be the world's knowledge base, and yet we can't agree on anything.
It's
so
the worst shit ever, damn near. Like, we need a baseline of you need to be here first before you can vote on someone who dictates the country. I don't feel like that's bad whatsoever because we've trusted it the other way. And where has it gotten us? Kids in prison, children in prison, innocent people dying. You see what I'm saying? Like, people still are standing for and rallying for capital punishment, even though the situational awareness has decreased. And we don't even take into consideration the amount of times the U.S. government has got it wrong and just killed innocent people or killed people that they didn't have definitive evidence on. Like, you need to have like a level of, like a base level of understanding to where it's like, oh, you're a certain type of level of stupid, you can only vote for alderman. No.
We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover.
I don't feel like that's wrong. Because if we look at the case studies, Jazo, y'all can tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong for saying your level of education and application of said education should only afford you certain level of voting rights? Is that fair?
In a perfect world, I'd agree, but that would also mean our education system is standard across the board to give everyone a fair shot. But we live in America.
That's the issue right now.
Which would then drive the educational standards to rise because they would want the people that they want to vote on certain things to meet the standard, correct? Because we understand that individuals vote against their best interests if anybody else than them can benefit from it, correct?
Again,
but if a certain group wants the uneducated to go and vote a certain way, then they need uneducated people to still exist.
And that's the rub.
And that's them. Jesus Christ. We're back to...
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Just like the family tree.
Wow. Fuck you. That's hilarious.
You're welcome.
Oh, man. We've all had our moments this whole episode, bro.
Awesome. Full circle, just like their family tree. That's awesome.
Put that in a quote book. Well, since we decided to switch things up, go ahead, Cal. Take it away. What you got as a rant for us today, bro?
So, like, what's already on the docket. So, gender wars are pussy pimping. They are. Pussy is the operative term. With that being said, there are men who are actively warring against their own best interests. Ironically enough, you see how that's a through line. They're actively going against women that would probably be possible suitors for them, would actually work out for them. But because they're not presented in the package that they would like, they view women who fit that mold as having no value. You niggas is weird. Yep. Yes, you are. Hey, I know your bitch ass daddy didn't tell you this. Hey, people have value. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Women have value even if you aren't attracted to them. Hey, women, I don't know if your bitch ass mama told you, but men have value even if you aren't attracted to them, right? But we're talking about the guys right now. You niggas are weird. Let me just talk to the men right now.
These piss pillars, talk to them.
You niggas are weird because you do not seek equals. You niggas seek opportunity to dominate, which is weird. That is weird because you're not looking for an opportunity to actually connect with someone and build a relationship, build a family that can actually exist through generations and everything else like that. No. You want someone to acquiesce to you as a result of them disproportionately being exposed to poverty. That's weird. Nigga, that's slavery. Yes, it is. No. Yes, it is. I hear you arguing. Shut your bitch ass receding hairline up. That's slavery.
Not a receding hairline.
It is. Because I hear you arguing. You're trying to say, oh, just because a woman knows a couple of things or whatever the case may be, does that mean that she supersedes my understanding or my knowledge? You probably didn't say it like that because you read with your fingers still at 32. I know you didn't say it like that. I'm helping you out. With this being said, if you have to travel to another country for pussy, you're a weirdo. Yes, you are.
Yes. Talking about them traveler people.
Yes,
oh my God.
Yep.
Don't say no.
Passport bros.
Don't say no. You are weird. And why are you weirdos disappearing at a disproportionate level? Why are y'all turning up disappeared or dead if this was an effective model? I think that's weird. And I think you should check yourself. Maybe you should go to therapy. Maybe you should talk to your mom more. If your mom's not living, I'm not going to disrespect that. Talk to your dad. Your dad's not living, I'm not going to disrespect that. Do you have a support system in your life? Engage in that. Do some push-ups. Exercise. Because the more you exercise, it'll clear your mind. You can exercise better choices. Yet and still,
get off the couch.
Yet and still, we have a situation, we have an epidemic of men not being able to marry or reproduce. So much so, other countries are literally asking us, the people you see on the panel, to come to their country and impregnate their women. Me, Dev, and Jason. Yeah, y'all are fucking up really badly. How much longer do you think that this thing can happen globally before it hits home in America? Do you think that these women want y'all when they literally said they would choose a bear over you niggas?
That still baffles my mind to this day.
And
not the choice, but the fact that people didn't understand why that was the choice.
Yeah, because I was thinking as a man, Jason, I told you, we've talked about this. I'm thinking as a man, I'm like, I can box a nigga. I'm in the bear habitat. I don't know how he's gonna. But then I had to talk to. You see what I'm saying? I had to take that in and be like, oh yeah, no, I'll choose a bear because it's GG's in the chat. If a bear catch me, I don't know what the fuck this man gonna do. I.e., Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer could have snatched me up if I was a little nigga. I'm not a little nigga. It's big dog over here. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? 2 6'1". Like, I wish you would. Knives on me at all time, baby. You gonna be a hey. But I can see how women would fear that because not only are you gone off the radar, you may be drugged, you may be raped, you may be sedated, he does what he wants to, and then after you're dead, he may still do what he wants to with your body. You don't even get a proper burial. You see what I'm saying? A bear doesn't do that.
Bear doesn't traffic you either.
Exactly. Which again, we have to deal with the psychology of individuals who went through their, what was it, Gooner Gate, through the pandemic, being disconnected from women, not only abusing themselves emotionally from the standpoint of you not even understanding your stressors or what's pissing you off or what keeps you from a healthy relationship, but you're looking at this woman like she owes you something. And then you escalated and followed that level of thought all the way down the rabbit hole. We don't know what y'all gonna do. And by y'all, I'm saying white men, because y'all are the standard of debauchery here in Western America. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of the sickest shit that has ever happened here in America is by white men. Period. You want to do the per capita thing. It's a big thing. Per capita is a big thing. Bro, some of the wildest shit has happened here. By y'all. I won't tell y'all what I've seen because we're trying to actually be nice. Jay-Z wants me to be nice. I'm going to be nice.
And we want to have an actual conversation here, but yeah.
Jay-Z wants me to be nice. I'm going to be nice. Women don't feel comfortable around y'all. And when they don't feel comfortable around y'all, they don't feel comfortable around us regular niggas. Which means it's a ripple effect because y'all weird niggas exist. It's a Schrodinger cuck effect. Like that. If the cuck is dangerous, but he's in a box, is he really in the box? Like that type of thing. I know it sounds weird. You may not get it, but it's that situation as to where it's like, it's that weird nigga with a pending sexual assault case in an intergender dorm type thing. To where it's like, a woman may feel like, I may want to have sex with some of the guys here, but I may end up fucking the Dahmer of the group. So I may not want to do it.
Is it worth the gamble?
My bad, Dev. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just saying, is it worth the gamble? Is what's going through their heads.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that was my one. And the gender wars are built off of that because then you have men who are looking at that from one side and women who are looking at that from only one side as well. So you have men weaponizing their lack of actual accountability and social skills, pushing that on women. And then you have women who are essentially looking for safety because financial situations and things like that at least afford them safety. And then those two cancerous individual groups are fighting against each other. When really it's like, just match trauma. That's it. Just match trauma. And you could be
Or
good.
life experience. Yeah.
Yeah, just match the shortcomings. That's it. That literally requires you being vulnerable. Which, Jay-Z, you wouldn't be married without being vulnerable to your woman, correct?
Big facts.
Oh, bitch ass, piss pillar. I wouldn't be here if I didn't do that. Right? Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, I match with who I need to match with. And that's my person. To the end of the next eternity. Not just this one, but the next one. And I think that's where the disconnect is. In my mind. And I also feel like, yeah, because I'm gonna tell y'all what the thing is. Gender wars are pussy pimping. With that being said, you as men are pussies and you getting pimped. I didn't forget y'all niggas about Andrew Tate's self-improvement shit. I didn't forget that.
We didn't forget y'all fell for Fashion Fit.
We didn't forget about y'all niggas falling for pump and dump schemes from niggas that y'all like. And you got penis envy. That's another thing we got to look at as well. We won't do it today. Y'all niggas is weird, bro. It's weird.
Devin out here like, nah, fam.
My bad, Devin. My bad.
That look on his face is like, nah, bro.
Devin, just as you bash me with D&D stuff when you're the DM, this is how I'm. Bro, a lot of these niggas want other niggas' dicks, and it's weird. It's weird, bro. And if you think that I'm lying, go look at the comment section under these people's names who I mentioned. It's
That's
weird,
a no for me,
bro.
dog.
It's really weird. Like they're talking about girth and length. It's nothing but men in there, bro. What are we talking about?
Oh,
As one of my favorite characters from the Boondocks would say, y'all niggas gay.
Like, I wish I was lying to you, bro. These niggas is talking about girth and everything with other niggas under a nigga's profile.
why?
What is this? What is this? What is this? And the person that they're looking up to is partially black, but doesn't like black people. And then they will fearmonger you about BBC. Us as niggas, us as black men, we don't colloquially get together and talk about BBC. You niggas is weird, bro. My bad. I'm getting this. Because it doesn't make sense to me. It literally doesn't make sense to me. I don't get together with these two brothers and talk about that type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's weird. And it's weirder that y'all are not black people talking with other non-black people about black people's phallus and how that can keep you from getting a woman. That's weird, bro. Go outside. Help yourself. Drink some tea. Touch some grass. Go on a jog, bitch. Pet a sheep. What do we...
Well, you don't want them to pet the sheep because, you know,
Y'all
it might get a little too lonely.
You're right. Don't touch that. Weird. My bad. Let me get back to this. My other point is the YNG, y'all niggas gay, which ironically ties directly into right what I was just saying. Hey, it's okay to like certain types of porn. It is. Nobody's judging you. You are engaging in what you find interesting in your own home by yourself. That's fine. When you try and base people's humanity off of your sexual attraction, that's weird. With that being said, you feeling like you only fuck with black men who fuck with white women on your accord and they don't deserve humanity just as a result of personhood because they have big dicks, this is y'all's quotes. I'm on y'all niggas. I'm watching you niggas. That's weird, bro. That's very weird. That's very weird. Because y'all are unmasked on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. Y'all don't respect trans men or trans women when they identify differently. So I'm not gonna trust your change of identity. It's Twitter, bitch. Right? I don't trust how you identify. Is that fair? You don't trust how other people identify? I don't trust like nigga, we breaking even. With that being said, that's weird. I've seen y'all. That's nasty work. That's very nasty work. Also, what I will tie to this is the OYN. The old young niggas. The people that never grew up. These people are in their second childhood. There was a movie that was placed on repeat on Black entertainment television by the name of Baby Boy, starring Tyrese. And it talked about second childhood. I know, J-So. I know. It's terrible.
Not Baby Boy.
But this is what I'm talking about, where you have individuals who are literally grown-ass men trying to relive childhood. Again, this is what this is. And this is where the piss pillars come in. They want to go back to a point in life as to where they can acknowledge the fact that they don't get women by saying women have cooties or something like that.
It's even worse than that, man. They're just trying to take us back to the 1950s where nobody who ain't a wasp has no options.
No,
we ain't doing that.
I agree. But that was, you're talking about from a full-born idea. I'm talking about the infantile. where it's like, oh, women are icky because, and it's some bullshit because we were all kids before.
Mhm.
Bro, this is that. And then building off of that gets to the weird misogynist, like we're moving political doctrine through that. I think that's very weird. You piss pillars are a disappointment to every ancestor that died in the pits of war. Period, point blank. Your great-great-grandfather will be disappointed in you. He used to get his dick sucked for chocolates overseas.
Where'd that come from?
I'm talking about someone's great grandpa like that.
I'm sorry. Their great-grandfather used to get his dick sucked for chocolates overseas. Now his woman is stateside, sucking chocolate dick over a Chanel bag. That seems like irony to me.
How did we get here?
Y'all are cucks because you cuck yourself. You're so much invested in the dick length of another man who's not even of your race that you forget the fact that you're supposed to be a decent person to get any type of woman to actually fuck with you. Is that fair? I may say it in a more slanderous way to get your attention and follow through, but the fact still stands. The white bitches don't like these white men. They don't. Why are they busting down? Why are the Koreans busting down? Why are the Japanese women busting down? Why are the Chinese women busting down? Why are the Russian women busting down? Why are the Germans busting down? I'm just simply saying, this is not by and large. I think that y'all took your position for granted because you didn't study, you didn't apply yourself. You don't even care if women like you. You assume that you're entitled to women because you share the same race or religion. And then dehumanize everybody that doesn't look like you. I could say this in a nice political way, but I'm going to tell you in the realest way. When you feel like everybody's beneath you, your bitch getting fucked.
So, in my version of the Key and Peele Angry translator, but the more of the civil, in the civil translator, people respond to being real. This fake masculinity stuff where you're talking about having cars and money and all that crap, it's all superficial. It's all fake. It's whatever you think makes you feel like a big, strong man. It's fundamentally fake at the end of the day, because more likely than not, just by being yourself, you could find at least 3 to 4 women that like you just for you. Because especially in this day and age, women don't have to rely on you for money, status, anything. Take your pick. In fact, when you look per capita, adjusting for inflation and time, women are generally the more educated and earn more than most men in this day and age. So, look at whatever stat you want to look at. Women do not have to rely on a man for much of anything anymore.
Which should be a good thing. That should be a good thing.
It is. It is. That means a man shouldn't have to work 65, 70 hours to take care of his family when y'all can split the difference. But y'all don't want to see past that. You're always stuck in masculinity, thinking y'all have to make all the bread or all the money and you can't enjoy life, and the woman has to stay home. How about you pick up a dish and clean something? How about you learn how to take care of yourself? And that's...
You learn how to cook a dish or two, you know.
For real, bro. Like, we don't...
Before you cook, Jason, to your point, y'all are scaring women by your level of ineptitude because you're weaponizing that. Am I saying that I'm perfect? Absolutely fucking not. I'm a shit person, bro. I am. But at the end of the day, I know where my struggles are, and I'm not going to actively try and project that on my woman. I'll eat those. You see what I'm saying? Even if she has an issue with how I process something. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not going to, I felt this way at a factory and I'm going to bring it home and did it. Because that's what your grandfathers did. Historically, if you're American, that is what happened.
and your grandmother couldn't leave because she couldn't get a bank account or a judge to sign off.
Mhm.
So let's keep it a buck. Like, at the end of the day, we should be equal as a society, and that quest for love, acceptance, whatever, should just come from being naturally who you are. Hey, if you're naturally a person that does this, that, and the third, your lady likes you anyway, and she accepts it, and she wants to be a stay-at-home wife, by all means. But at the same time, if she wants to go hustle as hard as you do, make the bread, and get her some red bottoms, all right, bet. Like,
Also works too.
Get out and go.
the whole point is stop sticking to a standard that one shouldn't exist and hasn't existed in over 70 years at this point. Like, especially in America, you probably can't afford a house anyway. So split the difference with your lady and just chill out and enjoy the rest of your life. That's where I'm ending this conversation, because it is really that simple. Yes, there are flawed women, there are flawed men, there are flawed insert demographic here, people out there. Like, there are flawed people regardless of where you want to look. So get that out of your mind and just be regular. That's really all it is. Holding your two fingers like this is a kid.
No, to your point, because you said it without saying it. Patriarchy hurts men in this civilization just like it hurts women in this civilization, because there's an expectation there that's levied against you as a man in patriarchy. So I think bell hooks would be a great place to start for you if you're a young man listening to this, trying to figure out, like, okay, so Jazo, Devin, Cal are talking about some stuff. I don't really agree with it, but I would like to look into it. That would be a great place to start, because there are certain levels of performative masculinity that are rewarded versus other things that are pushed to the side, demonized, and things like that, that you should pay attention to and make sure that you don't push that on your children whatsoever. Because that's very important. Your legacy is what you leave after you pass away. So if you're passing on trauma and bullshit that you had to maybe diagnose yourself because you didn't have the money to go to a therapist and everything, bro, check your shit, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Check your shit, bro. But that's me. That's one of my points that I care about.
Final thoughts, Devin?
To add on to that last point that you said, I definitely feel that there are a lot of men who have gone through trauma, because of their family and so on and so forth. It's generational trauma that just keeps getting passed down. However, it is up to you to make the decision to stop it at that point. You might not be perfect or anything. You might not necessarily be able to get over it yourself, but you can try your best to make sure that your children and the next generations beyond you can grow past that. So kind of look at yourself and make that decision.
And I think, and this is a grand thing that we can dive into in the future, but I think the whether it's the generation before us or the boomer generation, whichever one you want to scientifically break down, I think they forgot that the goal of any generation is to make the generations that come after have easier lives. That fundamentally is the point. And we are still wrapped in this men versus women mentality, whether we're talking about, again, how people treat each other, when we're talking about how we look at video games or manga, anime, talking about movies, TV, or even as simple as these stupid freaking pop balloon videos for dates and whatever. Like, those things are fundamentally toxic. I'm sorry, because you're leaning into the worst qualities of how we interact as beings. You don't find someone attractive? All right, bet, but don't rudely. That whole balloon shit is just fucking rude. It's like you going up to someone trying to engage, flirt, whatever term you want to use. You walk with them like, hey, I think you look cute. would you mind if I buy you a drink? Like they claim used to be able to do, but in the same time, you act like you could just force that upon them. If a woman says no, all right, bet. I understand. I just thought you were pretty. Walk away. That simple. It's literally, we're not doing too much. But at the end of the day, what?
Oh,
Go ahead.
I just had one quick thing. Um, I don't think that each generation should try to make the next generation's lives easier per se. I think the focus should be on making their lives better, making sure that they have all the resources that they would need to succeed, as opposed to making it to the point where they don't necessarily have to learn how to succeed.
Fair enough. Better, easier, whatever actual word you want to use. The whole point is that we should be better is probably the better word. To use better twice in a row. But yes, we should be making things more advantageous for the generation after.
I'm sorry. Why not easier? Because the tools of the successful are passed down by the survivors. So naturally, it would make it easier if the surviving individual passed down the knowledge, you see what I'm saying, to the next individual, which would thus make that life easier. No? Like if it's a situation as to where it's like, okay, cool, like hunting, what was it? Hunting and gathering is a way to do it. But then you can have a situation like we have now with chickens, cows, so on and so forth, where you can farm them and then breed them in and of themselves. Like that's easier. You see what I'm saying? Easier, better than that. No way. All right, my bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would argue that that is better as opposed to easier, because it's more efficient. You're getting more out of that, and there's still skills that are involved in that involve there's a good amount of hard work that goes along with that.
Yeah,
So I think making sure that you are passing those skills on, and making sure that the next generation is capable of using said skills and building off of that, is the route that you want to go with that, as opposed to making it easier where eventually they are potentially incapable of falling back on those skills. So that's where I kind of make that differentiation.
Okay.
Yeah, like I caught what Devin was saying, because to use your
I needed some extra. Yeah.
No, it's fair, and it's a great question, because to use your example, Caleb, the farming, whatever. Technically speaking, we're doing this in America now, which is probably what's contributing to all these freaking factory recalls, because we don't have people that are actually constantly making it better for us to raise cattle, properly clean cattle, properly, essentially fund our fueling our food system.
Yeah.
Instead, that we've overrelied on machinery and just cutting cost measures and not actually doing the things to avoid, cross contamination, whatever. We keep having every recall in the book. Bird flu is running rampant, which is raising the cost of eggs even further and exacerbating the issue. Because we don't actually make things better, but we've been taking the easy shortcut, the short-sighted cut. It's not actually better in the long run. We've just found a way to skirt past it. So
Streamline it. Yeah. That's why I was asking for understanding, because it was like that when it comes to streamlining services, like that is where it does meet. So it's like, oh, making it easier, making it more effective, blah blah blah. When we get there. So yeah, no, I respect where Devin's coming from. That does make sense.
And again, to kind of wrap up again, like, yeah, we should be making the lives of the people that come after us better. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean their lives are going to be quote unquote any easier, but we should be able to pass on the knowledge, the tools, just the progress we've made as a society down, and say, hey, your great grandmother couldn't buy a credit card, but she fought and protested so that you can have your own money and you can, have the capability to take care of yourself and not have to rely on someone else. Like that is not something we should be shaming. And unfortunately, regardless of these conversations, everyone just forgets our history. And this is what we're fundamentally fighting for. Like, and the fact that y'all don't see that it's sad. Like, we crack jokes, we've been having a good time talking about it, but honestly, when I think about it, it's fundamentally sad because it's like you guys are actively working towards your own destruction by not actually wanting your own self-interest. So fundamentally, at the end of the day, I just want to say be good people, because that good just comes back to you. But unfortunately, you weirdos don't want to do that. Y'all want to stick to these weird ass notions and think it's going to somehow benefit you. Any final thoughts, guys?
Yep. I'm all good.
Our expectations of you were low, but goddamn. Jesus was not going to say it. Jesus was nice. I rock with Jesus. I'm not going to be long-winded, Jesus. Excuse me. People need to be treated like people. And if you have any objection to that, you're a shit person. And you'll be viewed and handled as such. I don't give a fuck how you feel about how you get treated. Intolerance to intolerance does not make me a bad person. You're a shit person. This is me, not the rest of these gentlemen. They may like you. They may negotiate with you. I don't negotiate with weirdos. That's all I got, Jason.
Country of Cal does not negotiate with weirdos.
I don't negotiate with weirdos, bro. I don't. Yeah, my bad.
You know what? On that note, I think I just leave you guys with the quote of the night, because I think that's just the perfect way to wrap it up. So, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. Angela Davis. And on that note, I've been your boy John.
Dev.
This is Scout.
Peace, and remember, be good people.